to move people. As I've said before, doing lake work is not a solo endeavor. It is absolutely a team sport. And your team is not just the people that are here at the workshop with you, it's all of us. It's all the resources that Alana brings and our consulting companies and each other, right? And that's why Lake Lovers is here, to be an expansive, supportive net to encourage and support. We are a team sport. So putting this deck together, it brought a smile to my face. I have 5 children. My youngest is now actually a senior in high school, so many are launched. And I can remember my one girl playing soccer when she was, very little, right? And it really wasn't soccer. No one was playing a position. They were all just, if this was the ball, all clustered around the ball. We used to call it amoeba ball, right? How can you teach the kids to pass the ball to your teammate who's playing upfield, right? This analogy is true as when we think about how do we organize ourselves as volunteers. We don't want to be all clustered around one thing. We want to spread out and use our talents. Just sort of like, has anyone played foosball? Yeah. Right? It's forced. They're locked into these rods, and they're already spread out. So when we think about getting organized, right? What do you need? And of course, we can have perfect world and then a realistic world, right? You need someone to take charge as the leader. I was thinking about that little, that Disney video, it's old now, Jungle Book, right? And there's a scene where the 3 vultures are sitting on a branch, right? So what should we do? I don't know. What should we do? I don't know. What should we do? I don't know. We don't want that. We are going to step forward after today and do something, because something is better than just sitting there navel gazing, right? So somebody who can say, we're gonna go this way, or we're gonna go that way. And maybe it's democratically voted upon, but someone needs to act as the leader in the glue. Maybe water quality is an area that you're beginning or you're doing. Maybe someone's taking the lead on that. Communications, right? How do we get the word out? No magic fairies there either. Who's overseeing the money? It doesn't just happen magically, right? How do you coordinate your volunteers? Are you planning events? Maybe someone can step into the role of planning events. Now, no one's usually paid in these roles, right? So we have to pay particular attention to how do we engage volunteers differently than just making them because it's your paycheck and you must. It needs to be fun, right? A tip here is pay attention to what people are good at and slot them into roles where they get to use their strengths. So if you get to know me, you will know that I am not going to be the best treasurer. Precise, detailed things are not my area of strength. I love big picture strategy. I love working with people. I don't want to sit in front of a computer screen all day. So find the bean counters and maybe encourage them to become your treasurers, right? Your money hunters. Show gratitude. We're supposed to do that in all of our paid work as well, but maybe you didn't hear a thank you. So I will say thank you for showing up today for your lake. Thank you, Alana and Lisa, for giving up. This is not your professional time. This is your personal time, and we are grateful. Make sure at least once a year you are sending a thank you note, a written thank you note. You are holding an event. You are doing something that acknowledges the fact that people are giving up their time. And I think this goes without saying, but before you invite someone into a role that represents your organization, pay some attention to who they are as a person, right? Because character really matters. We are only built on our reputation, right? And it takes years to build a good reputation, and just like that, we can lose it, right? So be cautious, right? And be wise. So now that you've organized, you've thought through what you need, you've maybe identified some people to come into the buggy with you and play these roles, you need to get aligned on how you're going to work. Are we talking to each other 24/7? Are we meeting quarterly, monthly, weekly? What time works for everybody? Scheduling your connecting time at a place and time that the person can't attend is not okay, right? Maybe you need to flex and take turns. I used to work with people in all different time zones around the world. Thursday nights for years, it was a working evening for me because it was morning in Japan. When are you gonna meet? Where are you gonna store your information? You're gonna see me promoting the concepts of transparency and accountability. You can't hide your data and your information and your organization and your stuff in a secret place. This is gonna kill your opportunities to be effective. It needs to be transparent. A web page, a Facebook group, posted on a bulletin board in the community space, right? It needs to be transparent. Think about that, because ultimately, to be successful, you need to promote trust. You need to promote that transparency and accountability. All right, here's a tip. If you're not already doing this, circle the wagons at least once a year and check in with people. They are wonderful sources of information. If they're not saying anything, that doesn't mean they're a happy camper. Be open. What ideas do you have to make us better? If you just say, do you have any questions? Do you have any complaints? Maybe not everyone's feeling safe to say something, but if you say, how can we make it better? What's going really great? What can we do to make it better? And do something with those ideas. Don't just throw them out the window. All right? So being organized and not playing amoeba ball is super important. As you grow, maybe you add another role. Lake Lover set a strategic plan. I think it's going to be 2 years in March, right? And we're kind of outgrowing ourselves, and we're going to gather again in January to do this again, right? And expand. Okay. Grabbing people's attention. I loved this photo. Where are everybody's eyes for the most part? On that smartphone. And probably most of us here in the room, maybe not Miles, but we can remember before a smartphone, even before a BlackBerry, right? We are so sucked in, and we are so busy and full of distractions. And this is our audience now, right? So how are we going to grab people's attention like this dog is grabbing the ball, and keep them engaged, right? This is what we want. Inspire them, like that kid on the cover, to get involved. So I'm very grateful. Bill went to a conference and got permission to use some of this content. This is coming from Stacy Harbaugh, who's a communications director for the River Alliance of Wisconsin. And she had 2 key points that I wanted to bring forward. We need to earn. Listen to that verb. We need to earn people's attention. It's not free. You need to earn it. Okay? So when people have an experience with you, do they leave feeling amazed? Was it worth their time investment? Their attention and time of our ideal members. Are we going to go chase every single human being on the planet? No. We're going to narrow it down perhaps to the people most impacted, most benefiting from our lake, and maybe adjacencies, right? So we're earning their attention and time of our ideal members and advocates, maybe businesses in your community. And we are going to learn about something called a ladder of engagement. So we've all seen a ladder. We start climbing a ladder at the bottom and we reach the top. This is going to help us to prioritize our work so we engage our most important audiences. All of you get tired. All of you have other lives that you are giving up to be here. They need your time and energy too. So how do we get the best bang for the buck? So let's dig into this ladder of engagement. I thought this picture was great because it was already in the water. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom. When you're attracting people to the mission of your lake, you want to start with the fun stuff, right? Hey, come and have a good time. Maybe there's free food. Maybe there's pony rides, right? Whatever there is, it's fun, low commitment, and it appeals to your audience. Start with the fun stuff. That's your magnet to get people in. All right? Then have an invitation to something that's very low commitment, right? Maybe if you're starting to socialize, hey, we're a lake team and we care about our lake and we just want to give you a little overview of what we're doing. Maybe you do a 10 or 15 minute dog and pony show, fun, light, and you also have some fun mixed into it, very low commitment. Or maybe you're an info table at a community event. At that low information thing, you know how some people linger and keep talking? I loved noticing how much effort it took to get you to leave the tables and come to lunch. You were engaged in what we were talking about, right? Some people are gonna hang around. Those are really good clues of people to invite to the next run. Something with a little higher information. Maybe this is the team that really wants to take a deeper dive and get involved in the water quality. They want to know, what are all these measurements for? How do we use them? Maybe they want to help start planning that 4th of July event on the beach. Now we're to a point where you've seen some people showing up to some of these, and you can see that they're starting to get excited about it. Maybe here now is a time to invite them to volunteer. And volunteering doesn't mean giving up the rest of your God-given days. It could mean just for a month, or just for the summer, right? Or just for something with a finite amount of time. Maybe you want to do a test run on them and them on you, okay? And then once you've seen them in this volunteer space for a bit, maybe as you are growing your organization, you're inviting them, you've seen their strengths, to play a key role in setting the strategy and delivering action. Okay, so this is our ladder of engagement. We start at the bottom with fun, and we move, not asking everyone to volunteer, but certain people that are showing the interest. Maybe you're learning about, maybe they're retired and in their corporate life or their paid life, they were doing a skill that would really be beneficial to your leadership group. You're finding roles for people, and you're saying thank you. Similarly, these different steps on the rung of the ladder also come with attention and time, right? Pay attention to the season of life that people are in. If someone is raising young children and not getting a lot of sleep at night versus they're an empty nester, right? If someone's traveling all the time for business, be sensitive to these things. So again, we're gonna start at the bottom. And the first question when you're trying to grab people's attention and get them excited is you want to know, hey, have you ever heard of Lake Lovers? Have you ever heard of Sylvan Lake Team? Right? Have you even heard of us? And then once they've maybe heard of you, maybe they've seen a sign a few times or it's come up in a newsletter, you might want to say, do you know what we're all about? Do you know what we do? Why are we here, right? And then move them into, well, are you starting to be curious? Do you want to learn some more about this? Ultimately, getting them to a place where they want to get involved. And I'll just add, this was Stacy's content. Here's a Becky suggestion after working with volunteers a lot. Let's face it, we all have egos. We all want to be seen, heard, and soothed. If you want to see that someone says yes to you, it's really important. Of course, you must be authentic here. We are social creatures and we can see fake instantly. So if you don't have something sincere and authentic to say, don't do this. But if you do, if you really appreciated a quality about somebody, loved how they've done something, you can stroke the ego, you can acknowledge that. Wow, I really loved how you showed up at the school board meeting and did blah, blah, blah. And we would love it if you would consider taking on a role on our team before you ask. At the end of the day, have you heard the acronym WIFM? What's in it for me? Yes, we might be moved by our altruism. We want our grandchildren to be able to swim in this lake. We recognize if we don't get involved, maybe they won't get to do that. But maybe this is offering them a sense of community, a sense of giving back, an opportunity to use strengths that maybe are getting dusty because they're not showing up to their regular jobs like they used to, right? Try again to match the needs and the strengths with the roles. All right, so I'm gonna break each one of these down, and let's start with, have you heard of us? Something I think that's really interesting as we think about change and innovation, raise your hand if you remember landline phones. Miles probably never saw one, right? And of course, this was a big deal when all we had were telegraph. If we're in Harry Potter, we have owls delivering things, right? We're probably not picking up a landline phone to get the word out. So I want you to think through, I really see communication is stratified by our generation. My parents are now 85 and 90 years old, and they faithfully read the Chicago Tribune every single day. My mom, cover to cover. Think about how you get your information, and then just be honest and say, well, I'm probably in this decade. Am I trying to track people younger than me, older than me, the same as me? You're gonna have to pivot. Miles, I'm gonna put you on the spot. How do you get your news?
I mean, I usually don't.
You don't even pay
look at
attention to the
much.
news, right? Have you ever touched a newspaper?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, right? Right? It's probably social channels, right? Something that's coming through on your smartphone. So, some ideas. And by the way, we're very good, especially in our busy world, at putting blinders on. La la la, I don't see it anymore. So change things up. Maybe you've got billboards. Maybe you've got public restrooms and you're putting signs in the stalls. Maybe you're putting signs up at the beach. But don't just leave it up there in March and don't take it down till October. Do something silly with it. Make a different color, right? Maybe you're putting out stickers, bumper stickers, stickers on mailboxes, stickers that go out with boat launch passes. Maybe you're putting something in the US mail, because that is so strange these days to get something with a stamp on it. Of course, there's all the electronic communications, in person at an HOA meeting, a community event, a fair, a farmer's market, something at the library. You've got all the socials. A Facebook page would be a great thing, right? And maybe you've got someone that's doing social media promoting. All of these things, building out a website. All right, so they've heard. And now what do we want to do? We want to bump up that curiosity. Do you know what we do? So you might have remembered back when I opened, I mentioned a really great TED Talk, Simon Sinek, Start With Why. Research shows that really great organizations and really great leaders communicate from the inside out. What is the opening line of Martin Luther King's famous speech? I have a dream. He doesn't say that we've accomplished this. He doesn't say we're accomplishing this in 2 years, 5 years. He doesn't say this is my 2026 plan. He sets a vision. I believe, I have a dream, okay? He leads the speech with his why, his purpose. And I want you to figure out what your purpose is and lead with it every single time you communicate. Lake Lovers is, we believe that lakes are orphans, and it's only through things like this that we're gonna see our lakes get healthier. Come and join us. Doesn't that make you want us to come to Lake Lovers? If I said, you know, Lake Lovers is doing some events, we do events and we teach people, you wanna come, right? Lead with your why, then say, how do you do it? Well, we're measuring water quality, we do a couple events, we post things, we create volunteer things. We're, hey, high school students, we're helping you grow your resume for college apps. Join us, right? So, write down Simon Sinek, Start With Why. You've got a couple options on YouTube or on TED Talks, TED.com. There's a 3-minute micro zooming in on it, or the full version is 18 minutes, I believe. Read the book if you're a book person, and build out your golden circle, is what this is called. Speak from the inside out. That's gonna get people to be flocking to you. Okay, do you want to learn more? The slightest little tidbit of interest. You stop, drop, and have a coffee. Stop, drop, and meet with this person on their terms. Go to familiar ground. When I used to do internal consulting, I would always do this call, this talk, this engagement in the home turf of the leader, because they're more comfortable there, right? So go to their favorite coffee shop, their favorite restaurant, and meet with them face to face if you can, or schedule it at a time that's convenient for them to share more about your organization, why you do what you do, how do you work, what is it that you have in mind for them to do. Meet for coffee. Maybe you've got a handful of people and you're gonna all come together at this certain date or this virtual meeting, right? If you're hosting an event, remember you've heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Coming and seeing is worth 1,000,000 words, right? Come and see. All right, The last thing is, can you get more involved? Come and jump in, the water is great. Before you ask someone to come on, keep these things in mind, right? Make sure it's not foggy. Oh, we want you to volunteer, we really don't know what we want you to do, but you'll figure it out. Really be specific. It helps that be a win-win success, right? Make sure that if you're thinking they're doing this from now till age 100 and they're thinking they're doing this only for the month of October, that is going to be a disconnect. Be clear on what the expectations are. Provide a resource. Last night, Alana texted or sent us a message that said, hey guys, here's my cell phone. In case something happens, you're stuck out in the parking lot, right? She provided that resource because this is her space that we were going to get the benefit of using. So make a cell phone contact. Hey, if you get stuck, if you have questions, you can reach out to me and you will respond, right? And of course, say thank you. So I'm going to start closing now with some key tips of leading volunteers. The number one thing I can encourage you to do for healthy collaboration is transparency. If everybody can see the bank account, if everyone can see where the money went, if everyone can see what the plans are, what the water measurements are, this will just stop dead in its tracks, all grumbling, all drama, all clashing for the most part, right? Because there's one source of truth. There's not people on the inside that know and people on the outside imagining the worst. Keep things transparent. It's the best piece of advice I can give you. Hold people accountable. If you've got someone in a leadership role and maybe something trouble is happening in their personal life and they are dropping the ball a few times and can't deliver, it's time to have a friendly chat to say, hey, we'd love to have you be involved. It seems like something might be happening. Do you want to take a pause? Right? Don't cover up for somebody. Everyone needs to be able to pull their own weight, hold each other accountable, and celebrate together. It goes without saying, but we live kind of in some bumpy times right now. Bring your best self, show respect, and just like a sports team, there's someone who carries out the water and keeps everyone hydrated on the field, and there's the glamorous roles that make the big plays that get in the news. And if someone wasn't bringing out the water, how successful would the rest of the team be? Everybody's role on the team matters, even if it's a quiet, behind-the-scenes role. Did we enjoy walking back there and getting our lunches? They were already pre-sorted. Can you imagine how much time it would have taken if we had to sort through a cardboard box of box lunches looking for our lunch, trying to remember, did I order the Rooster or the Monterey, right? So thank you. All right. Last but not least, celebrate your progress. At least once a year, hit the pause button and come and celebrate. And this is my cue. You're all invited on November 20th to the Post Time restaurant across the street from Lamb's Farm in Libertyville. It's the annual celebration event for lake lovers. It's free. We're gonna do a big flyover the year. We would love to have you come. All right, questions. I'm gonna do, we have 2 minutes for questions, but I'm getting us back on schedule. Questions, comments?